One of many incentives we've told you about over the last several months.
WRAL's Dan Haggerty is here now with more on how successful these efforts have been, including one to pay children to get the vaccine.
So
Dan?
do you remember being a kid and seeing a $100 bill? I remember I got one from my grandma for my first communion. It was crisp, it was beautiful, I felt like a millionaire. But now I'm a grown up where $100 isn't even enough to take my family out to dinner unless we all get water. But to a 12-year-old, it's still a lot of money, which is why when this guy wanted to pay students as young as 12 $100 to get a COVID vaccine, people got a little bit concerned. Robbie Davis and the Nash County Board of Commissioners, they wanted to wave a C-note in front of kids 12 to 15 to entice them to get the shot. They called it an incentive, while some local parents used another word.
I feel like it's bribery. I don't feel like they should be giving anything directly to kids. I do not think anybody should be getting any form of payment for taking the vaccine. If you take the vaccine, that is your choice. But it should not be based on gaining anything out of it.
Now, the school board was listening. They got a little bit nervous about this whole thing, too. I mean, not nervous enough to cancel this plan, but nervous enough to adjust it. The final approved plan says that parents have to give the okay for the kids to get the shot and for the kids to get the money. And the $100 gift cards will go to mom and dad, not the kids. Now, with that, I want to bring in Eastern North Carolina reporter Keenan Willard. You broke this story, and I want you to clear up some details for me, because it kind of sounded like at first that the county was bypassing parents altogether, going directly to the kids, giving them shots and giving them $100 bills or something. But that's not the way this was working out, right? Parents were involved the whole time.
That was definitely the impression that the community got, and the cause for that backlash that we saw as soon as we put out our first story on this. But in reality, the state had taken steps to prevent marketing vaccines directly to children over the summer. As of state law, even though the vaccines have been approved for use in children, school districts can't market them directly and get children to sign off without their parents' consent. That's not the case.
Got it. So parents are involved from the beginning. But if that's the case, why the age cutoff, right? Because right now we're only talking about these incentives going to kids aged 12 to 18, but the vaccine's approved for kids as young as 5. So why not take it all the way back to 5?
And that was something that I spoke with really the architect of this county program. He felt uncomfortable doing a vaccine incentive for children 5 to 11, even though the vaccine's approved for them, because even though in the eyes of the law and in the state, children 12 to 18 still aren't making their own decisions, it's all on parental consent. The head of the county commissioners wanted them to feel like they have some agency, some choice in their decision, even if legally they're not really involved.
Okay, I don't entirely follow the rationale, but I appreciate the update. Keenan, thank you. Now let's focus a bit on these incentives for just a minute. Now, while Nash County seems to be working out the kinks, they were the first county in the state to incentivize shots for children, and the rest of the state may soon follow. This is what the top state health department doc said last week when asked about offering families cash to get their kids vaccinated.
We are looking at ways to replicate that we saw in our adult population. What would we be thinking about for our children populations?
Okay, and I'm sure you remember the incentives for adults, right? The state gave away a couple $1 million, gave away some college scholarships, but I'm not sure that's something anyone wants to replicate, because there is no evidence that it worked at all. The only incentive that showed any promise was the $25 gift card. There was this local study that was done that found that it helped a little by slowing the dramatic drop-off we were seeing of people getting vaccinated. Think of it this way, the water was still draining out of the tub, just not as quickly. Now, the state told me today the program was successful in encouraging vaccination by helping alleviate transportation and other cost barriers. But research across the country paints kind of a different picture and tells us that the juice may have not been worth the incentive squeeze. Here's a Bloomberg article from last month. It's titled, "Paying Americans to Get a Vaccine Doesn't Work, New Study Shows." Now, the new study they're talking about is referencing one from the National Bureau of Economic Research, a group that touts itself as a nonpartisan think tank. They found that not only do incentives barely move the needle, but they actually decrease vaccination rates among some of the people doctors are trying the hardest to reach. It turns out the people who have refused this shot for nearly a year with their heels dug in, some of them believing the government and medical industry is lying to them, weren't prepared to ignore that dogma for a $25 gift card. It's not shocking. But this hasn't stopped local governments from continuing to bet on incentives with your money. Chicago is giving away $100 gift cards to kids 5 to 11. Same goes for Louisiana, kids 5 and up. In Minnesota, it's $200 for just the first dose. And in my home state of West Virginia, they're giving away lifetime hunting licenses and doing a sweepstakes called Do It for Baby Dog, where a winning school will have a holiday party featuring Governor Jim Justice, great name, and his dog, Baby Dog, even better name. I reached out to the state of North Carolina to see what the plan is here and if they think the incentives are worth the investment, because that's what it is, right? It's an investment. Like any good investment, you want a good return. In Nash County, they're investing $860,000 out of money that could have gone different places, to bus drivers, to teachers, to classrooms, etc. What do you think? Is it a good use of your money? Give me your thoughts. Is there a part of this story I'm missing? Maybe. Let me know. Reach out. Send me an email. Dan@WRAL.com. Deborah, Gerald.
If Baby Dog can't get parents to vaccinate their children, no one can.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dan.